Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. On Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
Welcome to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, publisher of the beloved Aspire magazine, the premier inspirational digital magazine for women since 2006. And guess what? It's still free after all these years, and you can grab your subscription at subscribetoaspire.com. And guess what? It also comes with almost 24 transformational gifts from leading visionaries, healers, coaches, and therapists to support you in living your best life. Now, speaking about living your best life, if you've ever struggled or are struggling with chronic pain, you know how much it can affect your joy, your passion, your zest for life. I've been there, my friend, and that's why I am so excited to talk today with a dear friend of mine, Jacqueline Kane, the Stop the Pain specialist, because I've been there. I've suffered not just the physical pain, but how it affected and rippled out through the rest of my life. So by diving deep underneath the surface and symptoms of chronic pain, Jacqueline supports women in discovering and healing the crucial hidden links between physical pain, finances, and the ability to live a full life. And yes, they are all related. Take it from me. With over 15 years in private practice as a healer and over 30 years in healthcare, Jacqueline has merged her innate wisdom with a multitude of healing modalities, including Bowenwork, emotional freedom technique, evolutionary meditation, soul clearing, and more, to create unique, results-oriented methods of healing for her clients. Her powerful programs, available to individuals, groups, and organizations, liberate clients from both physical pain and so much more, so they can create a path to energy, health, ease with money, and personal fulfillment. Welcome, Jacqueline.
Thank you. Thank you, Linda, for having me today.
Well, you and I have had plenty of private conversations in our chats, right? And I know your story and you know mine. And this whole show is about bringing women on who have lived through something, come out the other side, and now they're committed to helping others transform their lives. So bring us back to your journey with pain, because I think it really highlights your passion for your work and what led you to this. So bring us back to that time, my friend.
Yeah, so even a little bit of history. So my healing career started learning how to take x-rays. I became a radiologic technologist, where you take x-rays. I don't read them, but we took them. So that taught me a lot about the body, the structure of the body, the organs of the body. And that's really what started my path in the healing journey. But fast forward, I went on a cruise ship with a few girlfriends. We went on a singles cruise, and I had my first massage. And I don't know about you, but I lived my life, all these thoughts in my head was always just busy about the next thing to do, everything I had to do. I would, spend my whole days making lists and then checking everything off. And during this massage, that stopped. My mind completely shut down. There was not one thought in it, even to the point where my girlfriends had to, get me dressed and put my makeup on because I was in a zone. I was out there. And that was the pivotal moment of me realizing at some point, I'm going to do this someday. I didn't know how I was going to get there, but I knew that massage therapy and healing was in my future. So then fast forward, I got married, had my kids, and I just found myself struggling I found myself in severe physical pain, hip pain, low back pain, and even depression. And I got to a point where I was working in the hospital and we were taking mammograms, and the secretary said to me, I'm going to go to massage therapy school. And I said, no, you're not. That's my job. That was my goal. And it kind of pushed me. You know how something's just set up to push you a little further and say it's time?
Exactly.
This is my push. Had my conversation with my husband. You know, our kids were young, and I said, I really want to do this. And he's like, okay. So I was still working full-time during the day, went to school at night for massage therapy, and got through that and opened up my massage practice. And a lot of people were coming in for massage, and massage is great, but I found that it wasn't getting people out of their pain. It wasn't getting rid of it. So this launched me into just learning and seeking and really figuring out pain, physical pain, and what's the bottom root, what's causing it. And it led me to Bowen therapy, which is a neuromuscular repatterning of the body. It led me to EFT, to soul clearings, to ancestral clearing. And I really started bringing in the mind-body connection, the deep thoughts in the subconscious mind. It brought me to learning about energy and realizing how important energy is to us and how it affects us. And as women and moms, how much energy we give all day long without even question. We're amazing. Women are totally amazing of how much we do and do and do and give and give and give. And then to find us at the end of the day, we're exhausted and depleted. And the more I wrapped around everything, I started asking my clients, why do you come to me? What's the end result? Why do you keep coming? And they said, well, we get energized and help us get rid of our pain. And I was like, wow. So then I just kept delving. How do I help you get out of your pain? And the physical techniques are great, but we needed to go deeper. And then when we get down to the core root of why we're in so much pain, then that's when true healing begins. When you connect the mind, body, spirit connection, you're able to get out of pain. You heal the past, you heal the trauma we've lived through, because everybody's lived through trauma. You start trusting your intuition, and then from that space, you can start manifesting your future easier than before, and a bright future filled with hope, possibility, excitement. And it's just so exciting. As I was getting ready to get on the call with you, the word like intoxicating, like I get so intoxicated and excited for clients to see where they're starting in physical pain and depression and frustration. And then as they go on their healing journey, to open up to possibilities and excitement and everything that they're able to receive. It's intoxicating for me. It's just so exciting.
I can hear it in your voice. But I also, what I'm feeling is, you know, both sides of the coin. You lived in pain. You worked through it. You've seen clients who've come in pain. And it's almost like a scientific discovery, right? You kept delving deeper. You knew that there was a connection between the spiritual and emotional that was causing the physical. And I think that's the missing keys. And then, so you continued your education, because Bowenwork, emotional freedom technique, you kept, like you said, getting intoxicated by the possibility. And then you begin merging all these modalities in with the body work?
Yeah. Well, it's separate. So each session is different. So sometimes, in the beginning when somebody starts working, we have to delve into what's underneath the physical pain. What's the emotion behind it? And usually it's frustration, it's worry about how bad their pain's going to get, worry that they'll never get back to be able to just walk down the street, walk to their mailbox, go for a hike with friends, dancing with girlfriends. it's uncovering that, because the subconscious mind, when we're in pain and worry, those are the thoughts and the beliefs that we're constantly telling ourselves over and over and over again. And that takes a lot of energy from the body and the mind, because it's just focusing on their pain. There's no room to open up to expansion, to even the discovering what in my body doesn't hurt today. What in my body can I expand on goodness? Because they're so consumed with the worry and the frustration. And once we heal that and understand how long that's been with them, what was the trauma that's triggered that to come to place, and then lock it in. It's like people with fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis. It's all these conditions where they're locked and they're so consumed with their pain that there's no space to open up to possibilities. Does that resonate? Does that make sense?
Oh, well, it resonates with my personal journey too. That back then when they told me I possibly had MS or fibromyalgia or advanced Lyme disease, I was in that pain. I didn't know how to get out of the pain. And that phrase you just used of in the space, right? There was no space for me to heal or think otherwise. Yeah. So, yeah, that really just resonated with me. And when we come back from our break, I want to talk more about how these sessions unfold, so everyone has an understanding that this is so much more than massage, and they're getting a taste of that now, but let's dive a little deeper when we come back from our first break.
Great.
I'll be back in a moment with my special guest, Jacqueline Kane. I invite you to visit JacquelineMKane.com. She has some yummy content there, sacred gifts for you, and so much more. We'll be back in a moment.
A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Finding wholeness, forgiveness, and unconditional love for yourself and others after your heart has been wounded by betrayal is possible. Mel Duane's international bestseller, Broken Open, Embracing Heartache and Betrayal as Gateways to Unconditional Love, guides women to see that the greatest source of love is their own brilliant heart. A must-read, shares New York Times best-selling author Christy Whitman. This transformational book is about being broken open, about having your heart shattered, cracked open to its core. But although betrayal may have caused your wound, this book isn't about learning to live with those old stories. It's about letting the light stream in through the cracks in your heart, rewriting your personal love story, and looking within for the love you crave. Order your copy of Broken Open today at brokenopen-book.com.
Are you trying to get from point A to point B and need a little advice? Connect with the counselors at OMTimes Advisors. Whether you're looking for a life coach or a spiritual intuitive, the advisors participating at advisors.omtimes.com were carefully chosen based on their gifts, skills, and professionalism. OMTimes Advisors, connecting you with the best advisors in the business.
Do you have time to read that inspiring book or that blog post you've been meaning to get to? In your busy world, how do you improve yourself and keep your life going? I'm Lisa Kay, and my Between Heaven and Earth radio show can transform your life just by listening. Be uplifted with inspiring topics, positive stories, and ideas that really work. Between Heaven and Earth Radio is conscious living for your soul, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hey, America, we need to have a little talk. We've got more food than we know what to do with in this country, yet 17 million kids in America are struggling with hunger. Makes no sense. Luckily, the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks has volunteers gathering excess food and getting it to hungry kids. They're kind of like Food angels. Hey, become a food angel yourself by supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org. We can't do it without your help. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is OTR-FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. With me today is Jacqueline Kane, the Stop the Pain Specialist. And we're talking about chronic pain, but also the layers, right, of the emotional and the spiritual. And Jacqueline's beautiful and I think unique way of working with the clients to uncover them all. So right before the break, Jacqueline, you said that it isn't just about the massage. So that you said that clients start with a process, and you said getting to know the root of what brings them in. So let's talk about that a little more. What does that consist of? Is that when you bring in the EFT or one of the other modalities, or is there a path you bring them on over the sessions?
Yeah, in the beginning, I use what I call my energetic visualization of going back. First we uncover what's the emotion under the physical pain. And as they start talking, there could be anger. There could be anger at themselves because they've tried so many things and nothing's worked. There could be anger at the doctor because nothing's working. There could be, the word resentment's coming to mind, resentment of all of that nothing is working, and resentment at themselves for why isn't it working for them when the doctors tell them it works for everybody else. Why is it not working for them, which we turn that anger on ourselves sometimes. Or there could be worry and frustration of what's my future look like. So when we uncover the emotion, then I take them through a visualization to go back, okay, so when was the first time you felt this worry? When was the first time you felt this anger and frustration? And usually there's a trauma that happened. And it may not be in this year, or maybe a few years ago. Sometimes we even go back to the first image that comes to mind, which could be childhood, or it could be high school or college. Something happened where something profound created a shift in them that kind of locked them in place, locked their growth in place. And that story, because when a trauma happens to us, something shocking, we create beliefs, really strong beliefs that maybe the world's not safe. Maybe there was betrayal in there. And we started creating the belief that people aren't safe. We can't trust them. We can't trust anybody, which our mind will then create more situations to prove that true. Because we are actually manifesting all the time. It just depends on what belief that you're manifesting from. So if you have a belief that people aren't safe and you can't trust them, then you're going to create more situations where you get disappointed by people. More people will betray you. Things will be going along good, and then something happens to just throw the whole thing off course. And you're like, I don't know why that happened. But deep down inside, your subconscious mind is believing that people are not safe and you can't trust them. So then over years of more trauma and more disappointment, it's like this baggage, this energetic, like I see a ball of just a heavy bag that we carry around. And that's our baggage. It's our energy. So then you find yourselves 40, 50, 60 years old and you're in severe pain. And nothing gets to the cause of it. Nothing relieves it because you have to heal that trauma that happened. And so over time, as we continue to peel away these layers and heal that, and even reframe the story in your mind, we reframe it to see what was the lesson in that. Because usually there's a lesson we needed to learn. But unfortunately, we can't learn a lesson if we're living in the white picket house fence. we learn it through our traumas, through situations. Then we learn it, so we reframe it in their mind so that they can create new beliefs, new empowered beliefs to start believing that they are supported, that everything always works out for them, that there's hope and possibility, and that this next technique or the pills that I'm taking, they are working for me so that they can get out of pain and get back to living their life.
It's just so powerful. Like I can feel it in my body of all the layers that you're touching. The majority of people who come to you, are they women?
The majority are women. Most of them are moms, older, between like 45 and 65. But I have some younger. I've been attracting younger women, and then always even women who are ready for retirement. So there's a wide range of people who come to me.
I was just curious on the age range to see who's open to getting this, right? Because it's so life-changing. We're so used to and programmed to go to the medical and say, give me a pill, I'll do this, and okay, it's not working, so give me another one. But they never, we're not, I don't like the word trained, but we're not guided to see something bigger. And I love that your path, your teachings, your wisdom comes from organically listening to bodies, but also listening to those you served, plus your own journey, so that you could see, there is so much more behind the chronic pain. And that's what I love about what you do. It's you see the whole body, the whole person, not just the body.
Yeah. There's so much more to healing and transforming our lives and really creating the life we were put here to live. Everybody has gifts. We just chose not to listen to them, or we've been told and by our programming who raised us by their beliefs and their worries and concerns, which sometimes limit us. And I have children, so I get it. I know how tough it is to say, just do it this way. But to allow each of us to just evolve into who we were meant to be, it takes time and nurturing and energy to have me step back, one as a mom and as a healer, to say, this is your journey. And what's your journey? And what are you here to learn and discover?
Yeah, and you're right. When you're a mom, it's so easy to do it for ourselves, but with the kids, you're like, excuse me, because we know the path, we know the obstacles because we've gone through, and we want to protect them. But you're right. I have that same belief system that it's their journey, their path, their spiritual lessons. Yeah. But it is hard as a mom to take your hands off the wheel. So share. So our listeners can understand, is there one particular client that stands out who really struggled with some type of physical pain and went through, and maybe wasn't at first open to all of the other modalities, but who, when she opened herself up, experienced a great transformation?
Yeah, and actually there's a few.
I knew that because I know you and your work, but pick one to share, because I think it gives our listeners an understanding of, and it ties it all together with a real person.
Yeah, so one of my poster child clients, I call her Joyce, she's given me video testimonials. You can check her out on my YouTube channel. She was in her 70s, and she came to me. Well, she had been coming to me for massage therapy, Bowen therapy, but she got to a point where her pain, and those would give her short-lived relief, right? This is a woman who was in her 70s. She had 9 surgeries in her life. I mean, she had knee surgeries, hip surgery. She's got rods in her back, shoulder. She just had carpal tunnel surgery. So she's had a ton of surgery, hoping after each one that she'd get out of pain. But it never got away. So she was really at a crossroads, and she called me up. She's like, Jack, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should go to the doctor or I should come more frequently to you. And I said, you know what, let's just go deeper, because she hadn't been doing the EFT or the visualizations. I said, the doctor's always there, right? Why don't we try like 3 sessions, see how you do. If you get no relief, the doctor's there, the surgery's there, the injections are there, the medication's there. It's all there. So after her first visit, she was blown away because her pain was remarkably reduced, and she was hooked. So by the time the 3rd session came, she was like, "Oh my God, this is like incredible!" And not only she didn't stop there. She has been working with me now for a while, and she's still making discoveries. So she has more energy. She's able to sleep better. She's getting more done during the day, and she's calmer. So when we have this restlessness inside of us, it's like a part of you, it's like your inner child, right? It's like screaming at you to pay attention to her. And until we pay attention to that person, she's going to constantly give you pain because she wants to get your attention. So when Joyce discovered all this, and we really, because my sessions are deep, we go back to the root cause, and you have to be willing to go there to get the transformation. So in her childhood, there was a lot of grief and sadness that she was still holding on to, and she was able to, through this work, release that. And she's really stepping more into trusting her intuition, having more energy. At 77 years old, last year she was able to drive from Connecticut to Montreal to go to a conference. And this was the first vacation she had taken in decades, probably ever. And she loved it, and she drove.
That's powerful. What a transformation to go from. It's like she got her zest for life, because now she's living a happy, active life, which is what you're all about, right? That's what your message is you deserve to live a happy, active life, and pain stops us from doing that. So what a little spitfire she's become, huh?
Yeah. So she drove up there. She was walking all over the place. I mean, it's not to say we'll never be in pain, but at least she was in less pain, and she was able to do this, which was huge for her. Yeah, it's opened up so much more for her. It's very exciting to watch.
Yeah, I love hearing the success stories. And we're going to take another break, and when we come back, I want to talk about some of the techniques, because I know some of them, but our listeners may not, like EFT and the others. So I'm going to invite you to just tell us a little bit about each one so they can have a deeper understanding of it. And I'll be back in a moment. I'm with Jacqueline Kane, the Stop the Pain Specialist. You can learn more at JacquelineMKane.com. We'll be right back.
Free your mind. Expand your soul. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ladies, do you suffer with chronic pain that prevents you from living an active, happy life? It's time to get the professional support to let go of the long-standing patterns in your body, mind, and emotions that are causing your pain. When you clear the emotional, spiritual, and physical patterns that fuel your pain cycle, you can live a pain-free, pleasure-filled life once again. Stop the Pain Specialist, Jacqueline Kane, merges 15 years in private practice as a healer and over 30 years in healthcare with her innate wisdom and a multitude of healing modalities, including Bowenwork, EFT, Evolutionary Meditation, soul clearing, and ancestral energy clearing to create unique, results-oriented healing protocol for each. She sees clients virtually and in her Connecticut office. Visit JacquelineMKane.com to learn more.
One of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment, a philanthropic organization. Their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. OMTimes, co-creating a more conscious lifestyle.
Hi everyone, this is Shay Parker, the host of Best of the Best, which airs live right here on IOM Radio every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Pacific. I'm super excited to bring you expert guest hosts, spiritual discussions, free psychic readings, and so much more. I can promise that you will not want to miss this one-of-a-kind, fun, yet touching, down-to-earth show. Join us every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific on OTRFM. This is Shay Parker, and I can't wait to see you there.
The number one reason girls drop out of school in sub-Saharan Africa is lack of access to feminine hygiene products. The Pads for Schoolgirls Project, an outreach of Humanity Healing International, is changing this paradigm by setting up sewing programs at schools, teaching girls a vocational skill, while producing the reusable pads that help keep them attending classes. The girls pay it forward by making and giving pad kits to other girls in need. To learn more, visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is. A conscious lifestyle for a mindful life. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. With me today is Jacqueline Kane, and right before the break we were talking about transformation that's possible when you look at yourself as a whole, not just the physical. So, Jacqueline, some of the modalities that you use, like the emotional freedom technique, Bowenwork, which I have a question on because that's one I'm not familiar with, and then evolutionary meditation, soul clearing, and more. So let's start with Bowenwork and tell us what it is.
So Bowen therapy is a neuromuscular repatterning of the body. It was created by Tom Bowen from Australia. And the thing I love about Bowen work is that it works every system of the body at the same time in one visit, where normally you'd have to go for massage to work your muscles, you'd have to go for an energy work to heal the energy part, or a nervous or lymphatic drainage to work the lymph system. Bowen therapy is designed it's very gentle moves on different parts of the body. We work the whole body in each visit. And the points are very specific to nervous bundles in the body and lymphatic drainage areas, which give you the most powerful results in the body. And that's why people are able to get out of pain that they've had for years and decades and have long-lasting results. It actually helps the body to become healthier and more balanced over time. EFT, emotional freedom technique, is a very powerful mind-body tool where we use psychology with energy work and tap on acupressure points on the body to heal the past, release the fears that we live with, and then get to a state where the body is balanced and we have a much more powerful mind-body connection with ease. Another tool that I love, and I've been using a lot more, is ancestral energy healing, because I believe that a lot of the worries and the fears and the emotional, I call baggage, emotional component that we're carrying, and sometimes there's one family member that's carrying the most for the family. Those energies have been passed down into our DNA and into our bodies, our physical bodies. And when we heal that our ancestral line, we're actually shifting the energetic components of our family going forward. And that's really, really important to clear away as we're looking at the physical body.
That sounds powerful in itself, because all of us, we just carry patterns unconsciously.
Right.
But I'm sure it must go for generation until someone shifts it.
Right. Yeah, because we all know those families that end up with the same tragedies, the same ailments, the same illness. And why is that? It was a learned pattern, sometimes so ingrained. People are like, well, everybody in my family has allergies, so it's like they believe that they have to keep having it. It's a matter of shifting that thought that, no, I can choose. Do you want to keep having problems with allergies, or do you want something new? If everybody in your family has to have arthritis and have hip replacements, do you want to believe that and keep that, or do you want to let that go? So people are able to choose what they want to believe and how they want their health to look.
It's more empowering.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like it puts the decision back in their hands instead of just saying, I accept that, whatever it may be.
Right. Right. We take our control back.
So what is soul clearing, too?
So soul clearing is similar to the ancestral. Soul clearing is more about tapping into your superconscious mind and getting them on board and commanding to say, this is what I want. I am no longer going to allow all this negativity to come with me, and this is what I want. So we clear energetically the energetic residual of the negativity, and we set ourselves up to activate everything we do want, the good stuff.
So it's like a reboot.
It's a reboot. Yeah, I like that. An energetic reboot.
Yeah, that's what, like, as you were speaking, I'm like, yeah, I could see how that would just go, okay. It's like you're trying almost like zapping the old script and replacing it with a new.
Yes. Yes.
And I can see how that could be so powerful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one of the other ones go ahead.
So these are tools. The other thing, because, sometimes we're like, I want to go to a healer to fix me. That's not, people don't come to me to get fixed. I mean, yes, they have problems, but it's about me teaching you a tool to empower you so that going forward, because it's not to say we'll never be in pain. I can vacuum my house and I can feel my low back talking to me. But you have tools where that pain's not going to last that long. And going forward, you can get out of pain yourself. Because I do believe we all have all the answers inside of us. We don't need to rush to a doctor. I mean, yes, sometimes we do, but for the majority, we have all the answers inside of us. So people get empowered.
Yeah, and to me, the best healers are the ones that empower us and don't make us dependent on them, because then we're just creating a new pattern. So it's like they're coming to you to learn a new way of being so they can also receive the tools to help clear the layers. Yeah. But they're the ones doing the work. You're creating the space and providing the tools from your sacred tool chest. That's how I'm like seeing the energy around it.
I like that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's just how I feel. And as I said a moment ago, those are the healers that I'm drawn to, because at this point in my life, I want someone that empowers me, not makes me dependent on something else. It's no different than when they give us pills for something, right? And then suddenly you're dependent on that just to have a quality of life. No. Let me dive deeper, and that's what you do, is help them say, okay, let's go in deeper and find out the cause or causes behind the issue.
Right.
People sometimes, because when I got on this path 28 years ago, if we were having this conversation then, I would have been like, what the heck does a pain in my neck have to do with my family, right? Do you ever have conversations like that?
Oh, my God, I was just working with somebody yesterday, and sometimes people come to me and they don't give me all the details of their physical pain, or they think we're just going to work on the emotional. So this one client yesterday, she's like, oh, well, I had a massage last week because of the jaw pain. And I was like, okay, tell me more about your jaw pain. She's like, but it's physical. I'm like, yes, it's physical, but it has an emotional component. She's like, the massage the first time got rid of it, but the second time it didn't. Okay, so why didn't it that second time? If it's physical, then having a massage should get rid of it every time, right? But as time goes on, it may not, because that's not the root cause. The root cause, as we were talking, was there's things she needs to say, but she's not saying it. So that energy is locked in her jaw, and she's not speaking. And there's a part of her, this particular person, she's just really smart. And I love smart people, but sometimes we're in our heads too much when we're thinking.
I've been there.
Thinking, right? Yeah, and I get there at times, like, I got to figure this out. I was like, no, you need to get in your body and feel it. So she's believing that she needs to figure it out in her head. And so that's why the jaw pain is still there. If it was truly physical, it would have gone away and stayed away. But if it's coming back, there's something else going on.
Did she connect with that? Was she open?
Well, she's still early in her healing. She has a lot of family stuff going on, so it's going to take a little longer for her.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. And when you were talking about her jaw, it felt almost like that. When like you're angry and you're biting your tongue at a family function, and you're what do you call it? Like chomping down on your bottom teeth. It's like you can feel it grind. Yeah, I couldn't think of the word. That's what I felt like, and we can all relate to that, right? That feeling. So imagine over time never speaking your truth and holding it in. It becomes chronic pain.
Right. And there's another piece of that. Like there's just some people who believe that, no, this is painful and I don't want to give this awful energy to anybody, or even I don't want to send it back to my ancestors. It's my job to carry it. And it's like, well, that's you believing that it's your job to carry that. And what's it doing for you, right? It's so understanding what this energy is here to teach you, journal on it, do whatever you need to do to understand that, get the lesson from it, honor it, and then send it back, which will free up your entire line along with your life and your business. So.
Oh, yeah. And you can feel this. Like I feel things in my body, as you do. And as you're speaking, I'm like, I can feel the truth of this wisdom in my own body. And I don't know if it's because I've had life experiences that I was in chronic pain and now I'm not. I don't know what it is, but this is all resonating so deeply. And we're going to take a final break. When we come back, I want to talk about something that's a little off topic, but because I mentioned it in your introduction, I want you to connect the dots between feeling good, chronic pain, and abundance. One, I think it's a great topic, but two, some people may say, what the heck's that got to do with it? But we'll talk about that and more when I come back with Jacqueline Kane of JacquelineMKane.com.
This is OTRFM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
We can all use a little more peace and joy in our lives. Don't you agree? Counselor, best-selling author, and self-nurturing expert Kelly Grimes of CultivatingPeaceAndJoy.com is passionate about empowering overwhelmed and exhausted women to live with more peace, joy, and meaning through the practice of self-nurturing. Through her experience working with individuals, speaking, providing workshops, and teaching professional and leadership development to forward-thinking organizations, Kelly knows that nurturing peace in the world begins from the inside out. That's why she created the free Cultivating Peace and Joy mobile app that brings you beautiful self-nurturing reminders, guided meditations, empowering practice tools, and daily prompts with an inspiring question to guide your daily self-nurturing practice. Download your free Cultivating Peace and Joy mobile app today at CultivatingPeaceAndJoy.com.
Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
This is Terry Van Horn, and I want to invite you to join me for my weekly radio show, Healing Light, on OMTimes Radio every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On Healing Light, we want to bring love, light, and blessings into your world. You can find out more about us at www.healinglightonline.com. Blessings.
This is OTR FM, part of the IOM Radio Network.
Welcome back. You're listening to Inspired Conversations. I'm your host, Linda Joy, and we're talking about chronic pain, healing the layers, spiritual and emotional and ancestral, that may be leading to it. So, Jacqueline, I know, in the intro, we talked a little bit about how it ties, right, into finances. Make the connection for us.
So this is where law of attraction comes in, with physical chronic pain and living your happy, active life and your finances. So when we are in chronic pain, we're consumed with thinking about, oh my God, I can't do that. How can I plan my day? I can't sign up for this. I don't know how I'm going to be. So your thoughts, you're creating more thoughts, which means your mind is creating more things to worry about with your health. There's no space to even think about abundance or how to manifest more or to create a successful business or have more income coming in. There's no room for that. But once we start healing that and that client goes from living in worry and frustration to stepping into possibilities and trusting that I am supported and setting your goals, letting the universe, your superconscious mind, whoever it is you believe in, letting them know this is what I want. I really want to live my happy, active life. I want an amazing relationship. I want an amazing marriage. I want to feel connected. Then you can start bringing more of that in. Amazing friendships, vacations just popping out of the blue, money showing up. So many people say when they do this work, oh my God, I got a check in the mail. I got a refund from my taxes. I got a raise at work. One client got like a 10% increase in her job. You're opening yourself up to unlimited possibilities, and we are unlimited. Anything we want is really available to us. We just have to get out of the way. And when we open ourselves up, I love how, you can wake up in the morning and say, wow, I'd love to have money show up. I'd love to have more fun. I'd love for friends to start calling me. And it just starts happening. It's that law of attraction. If that's what you're thinking all day, that's what you're going to get more of, because we are actually manifesting every single day. It just depends on what we're manifesting. And that all comes from our beliefs and our thoughts.
Yeah, and pain and chronic pain and thinking about pain and living in it is a constriction. So it's constricted energy, which I believe, whether it's pain-related or not, is when we're in constricted energy, we're shutting down our receiving ability because nothing can get in because we're so tightly constricted. But I can see the connection now that as they start working with their physical pain and these modalities that you share, it's like I can almost see an energetic opening happening because they're stepping into healing, even if they're not fully there yet, right? And I can actually feel the expansiveness, and we all know that abundance and everything else comes when we're open and expansive. So I can see this connection in how it unfolds. How did you discover the connection during your work with clients or your own personal journey? How did you discover this?
It was mostly my personal, because I can't really promote something that I don't fully believe. So at first I had to see it happening. I had to see how doing certain techniques got me out of pain. And then doing more techniques, money showed up or clients showed up. Things were easy. There was more flow. I loved my family more. So I had to see it first, and then when I was working with clients, like they would just start saying, they're like, oh my God, this showed up and money showed up in the bank. I totally forgot about that. And their whole life changes. For example, one client, she was close to retirement. Her husband was close to retirement. and she was really worried about having enough money during retirement. And after working together, money just showed up. Her husband got a much higher raise. They were getting refunds from certain things. You're just stepping into the flow, the energetic flow of abundance, where you believe it, you ask for it, and it shows. It's incredible.
I just love it, though. It's exciting, right? And
yeah.
And I know anyone listening to our conversation today, they can feel the passion for what you do and the belief in what you do. And I think that's so important when you go to a healer that is so intimately connected with their own journey, their own wisdom, but also in their desire to empower others to heal.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to recognize that in you because it's really coming through and I can feel it. And yes, I've known you for a while, but this is like one of the deepest conversations we've had a chance to have about your work. So listeners, I'm doing this for you, but I'm also really taking this all in and listening because it just resonates with such truth. And we've had lots of juicy tidbits throughout our conversation. One is that healing is about giving someone the tools to empower themselves and to change. And it's like you're the sacred space holder and you got this sacred toolkit, and they come to you and you help them navigate the journey using these tools. Mm-hmm. And I loved how you tied everything together about how even though they may be thinking right now that the physical pain is just that, it's a pain in my neck or a pain in my jaw, but you beautifully explained today how it's connected to our quality of life in so many other areas and why it's a repeating pattern, like the ancestral stuff. That was so I'm so glad that we tied that in because, I can see certain patterns in my own life over the years going, that's why that happened. And thankfully I cleared it. But so how, I know on your website, Jacqueline M., there's a middle initial there, mkane.com. I know they can learn more about working with you, your programs, your offerings. Is there any other piece of wisdom you would like to leave our listeners with today, or a piece of guidance in the last few minutes that we have?
Just not to give up, not to get stuck in the trap of thinking that nothing's working. And to be open to trying something completely different, and start trusting your own guidance. Ask your guidance, where do I need to be, and who's going to help me get to that next step? There's always things for you in front of you. We just have to sometimes get rid of that fog and be able to see it.
So true, my friend. And again, you can learn more at JacquelineMKane.com. Jacqueline, thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for the work you're doing in the world. It's so needed.
Thank you for having me. This has been wonderful.
And everyone, I hope you join me every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern on the OMTimes Radio Network, or you can listen to Inspired Conversations across all podcast platforms, including iTunes. Until next time, my friends, choose love, choose joy, choose happiness.
Thanks for listening to Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy. Join our sacred space every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern and meet leading female visionaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. Inspired Conversations with Linda Joy is a soulful venue where guests share the obstacles they've overcome, along with wisdom and lessons learned on their personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic and soulful living.